dun, 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 dun. Hey, Ed Diza76, how's it going? Bud's upstairs eating dinner, so he probably won't be down for a few minutes. So all he cares about is food. Yes, it's the penultimate Christmas Eve. Yeah, I got to get these done so I can go to the post office tomorrow and be pissed off standing in line. Well, if I pre-package them, it won't be a problem. So that's why I'm back again. I got some Cope juice, though. Got me some Cobra Kai beers. Cobra Kai will be the greatest dojo in California. Hello, fair Schlibberlo 4. When we last left our heroes, I'd get my cat to do that part for me. Oh, let's see. All right, yeah, that'll work in bifocal range. I'm old, Peter. Wendy, you were once a little girl. Now you're old. Huh. Bud, that's not where you're supposed to be. Get down. Get down from there. Down. That's my Commodore pile. That's from my blue period. You just ate a delicious meal. What am I doing exactly? These are two accessibility controllers. I started this build last night, but I guess I'm out of practice, so I was not able to get two done in one night, so I'm finishing it tonight. Well, finishing two of these tonight. What, bud? Here, if I give you a Q-tip, will you be quiet? Here, eat that. Oh, Racine, Wisconsin. Yes. No, no, don't do that. Don't break my Commodores. Don't break this either. In fact, just don't do anything. Go stand up against that wall, short round. Menards getting sued for overpricing? Pfft. I think that's just a shakedown, because I'm sure the state doesn't like Menards for political reasons. I mean, overpricing Menards is cheap as shit. I mean, I thought it was something with the rebates. Like, you have to mail in the rebates, and for some reason that was a problem for someone. Well, I mean, they did change how the rebates work. Like, it used to be you would get, like, a check in the mail for the difference. Now if you get the Menards rebate, it's like company store credits. And also, I can't remember, the last time I got a rebate, I can't remember. I usually only bother doing it if I buy like a bunch of stuff. The last time I did it, it took like 6 weeks to get the thing in the mail? That was kind of lame. But it's still like free money, basically. I don't know. I think Wisconsin was like shitting where it sleeps with that, because like Menards is like a major Wisconsin corporation. They probably didn't donate to Governor Evers. Well, I guarantee they didn't donate to Governor Evers, so that's probably what it's really about. No, you have to like you get this piece of paper, you fill it out, and then you include the rebate receipt with it, and then you wait like 6 weeks to get like a thing in the mail, which is just like a coupon code, and then you take that to Menards, and then you scan it the next time you go there, and then it acts as credit. Bud, get down from there! Down! Jesus. Now, Menards is a pretty openly right-wing company, so I think that's probably why they kind of were a target for Wisconsin. Actually, Wisconsin has a lot of Wisconsin's corporations are that way. I don't know. I'm just assuming that it was politically motivated. I think, yeah. If I'm buying like hundreds of dollars worth of stuff at Menards, I might bother with the rebate. Otherwise, I don't. Well, they also have this thing where like some days they'll have like the brown paper bag sale, and you walk in the door and there'll be this like big thing of paper bags laying there that say Menards on them, like paper grocery bags. Which is because they usually have plastic bags. So it's like anything you can fit in this bag will be 11% off, and it's just 11% off. There's no rebate. But then it's like there's like rules printed on the bag where it's like, well, whatever you buy has to actually fit in the bag. So like you can't like try to put like 2x4s in the bag or something like that. Not like 2x4s are expensive, but yeah. That deal only happens once or twice a year. But, yeah, I don't know. Did Foxconn, like, did that ever get built? Or I thought they just, like, made some offices. Let's see, up, down, right. Well, I remember what Foxconn really wanted was the water from the Great Lakes. That's why it was in Racine, because it's, I guess, within pumping distance of Lake Michigan. Eight screws in one, yeah. I mean, most corporations that aren't like huge corporations are usually more conservative anyway, but whatever. I mean, I think Home Depot actually has higher quality stuff. Like Menards doesn't have like any good tools, for instance. Like you can't get a DeWalt at Menards. Or a Bosch. Or Milwaukee, even though that's all Chinese now anyway, but yeah, still. Like if I want tools, I usually buy them at Farm and Fleet. Yep, Scott Walker was the one that did the Foxconn thing. I would say one thing with that is like, if you care about the environment, then you should, in theory, want things to be made in America, because even with like the shady political deals, it's still going to be at a higher environmental standard than it would be in China, where there are no environmental standards. Oh, Philip, I don't know who bought it, but like where the original Sears headquarters was down in Chicago, well, technically in Schaumburg. Somebody bought that land for like $400 million, which is crazy. And of course, they tore down everything, and they're going to build a data center, of course. All right, let's see. Y is next. What? You know, actually, like a lot of, well, even like in the past, but a lot of data centers, like you think about like Google or something, like most of their stuff was like in Iowa, because it's centrally located and the electricity is cheap. Because guess what Iowa is right next to? A big frickin' river. You may have heard about it in a book called The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Fairs BH, Elma 14 was contract work that I did for a corporation. So all the work I did for them is owned by them. No, Bud, what are you doing? You can't be there either. Get down. Jiminy Christmas. Yeah, so the Ben Heck Show is owned by Elma 14, so that's why it's on their channel. But this channel, this Ben Heck Hacks channel, which I think just used to be called, what was it called? I can't remember what it's called before. I've had this channel since like 2007. So this is just like my original channel. Let's see. What? I already gave you food. B-A... Oh, Bud, be quiet. I'm trying to concentrate. Yeah, people were talking about that too, not just RAM prices, but like how this AI bubble is pushing up electricity too. Because all these green companies are having to expend terawatts of power on their AI data centers. Oh, the irony. It's almost like they don't actually give a shit about the environment. What? I'm stealing this stone. Oh, Bud, no, you can't be there either. Get down. Get down from there. Get down. Go to your box. You only can be in one place. Here. Now go to sleep. Yeah, I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done before Christmas. I'm working tomorrow too. But then I'm taking like Thursday, Friday, and all next week off. So I want to try to get some stuff done. I was working on code porting. Spent most of the day working on like menu events and switches and menu events for next pinball game. Not the next game Spooky released, the next game I'm coding, which is the next game. Because they have like this menu system that Dylan made. Menu system that's on, it was on Scooby-Doo, Beetlejuice, and then it's on, and then Eric programmed the same menu, but he did it in Godot. And then it's, yeah, so basically making sure that my next game has the same menu system as the current games, because when I did when I started the Evil Dead game, it was a kind of a rush, even though now it's been like 2 years, but at the start it was a rush. So I had 10 months to make it shippable, to get it done enough to ship. So there was some stuff I just did not have the time to redo. So like the menu system, I wanted to make it match Scooby-Doo, but I didn't have the time. So it basically just has the same menu system as Texas Chainsaw did. It works, but Dylan's system is better. So Dylan basically gave me like a fork of Beetlejuice. I don't know when that was. Probably like in July. And so I've just been copying over the relevant bits of how his code works to make it so that the menu system in my next game matches all the other games. I mean, I'm changing a few things under the hood, but the menu system and how it stores data will be identical, which is good. I mean, I don't really like the way he does the high scores. I think mine's a little bit more elegant, but we'll make it match. And then we also, we got some other like possible stuff coming up, like web interface stuff. So that's makes it even more important for all our games to get on the same JSON page. Like his menu system has like nested menu objects that can like pass handlers to each other. So like when you click on an option, it can execute a code handler and stuff like that. So there's still some clunkiness to putting the menus together, but it's more consistent for the end user, which is all that matters. It's my job to make it the same for I fight for the users. So that was what I was working on today, because we had a little update for Evil Dead last week, and so last few days before our spooky break, I've just been doing housekeeping stuff for the next game. A smaller local charity? I don't know. I mean, I would have liked to do something other than St. Jude, but I don't know. Google had it. It was easy to set the option for it, so I just was like, screw it. I mean, it's still, yeah. I don't know, maybe like Ronald McDonald House or something. I don't know. Lord knows, like, hospital stuff is expensive. Oh yeah, my premiums went up, and then my deductible and my max out of pocket also went up at the same time. So I was like, wow, this blows. It's not actually health insurance. I joke that it's heart attack insurance. And so I could get a $8,500, $80,000 heart attack. That's the only way to look at it. I mean, I probably will have a heart attack before I'm 60. Most of my uncles had had one before they were 50, so I guess I'm overdue. So I have to look at it that way. 2.9 billion? Yeah, I wonder what they pay their executives. Because, you know, non-profit, but everyone that works there makes six figures, and the CEO makes 7 usually at these places. Well, if they made a super AI and asked it how to save the planet, it would say to kill all mammals. So I think that's what it would really say. They'd be like, Captain Planet, we did it! We got rid of all the sources of carbon emissions on the planet. No, Planeteers. There are still some sources of carbon emissions on the planet. But where, Captain Planet? You. No! Dun 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 dun. Consider, if you will, a group of teenagers who helped a weird blue man remove all carbon from the planet. But in the end, it turned out they were also carbon. So he killed them in the Twilight Zone. Dun 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 dun. 5 teens, each with the power of earth, wind, fire, and I guess heart, because we ran out of elements. But they're about to learn an important lesson in the Twilight Zone. There's carbon emissions on the wing of the plane! Oh, they did do an evil Captain Planet? Is that how it ended at the end as well? I mean, because that's the only way it can end. Just like how the only way a Toy Story can end is at the dump. See, the Toy Story movies drop in quality once they run out of scenes to steal from Brave Little Toaster. Kind of like how Rick and Morty drop in quality once they run out of things to steal from Star Trek The Next Generation. He turned everyone into trees. Well, as long as there's a dark twist ending, that's all that matters. Yeah, because, you know, at the end of the day, every creature on the planet is basically a furnace. A furnace emitting CO2. It could take humanity down to 0, yep. Is Ted Turner still alive? Oh, that's right. I got the new lame... They had an Alexa update. And they're like, would you like the new Alexa AI feature? It's free with Amazon Prime. Until it isn't. And then I activated it, and then like her voice changed to like be like this higher pitched woman. And I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. And then she tries to be conversational, and it sounds so fake. It sounds like a boomer writing dialogue for a supercomputer in an 80s movie. Santa, what happened to your elves? They were emitting carbon. I've replaced them with robots that don't need to eat. Well, you got the elves new jobs, right? You know what's powering my robots? What? The elves. Oh, you mean the elves are like driving the robots? No, I chopped them up and burnt them into furnaces. Wait a minute. So you save the environment by running the robots with fossil fuels? Well, no, it's obviously not fossil fuels. It's elf fuel. Fossil fuels is such a misnomer. I mean, it's actually ancient plants. Thank you very much. I guess fossil fuel is catchier than ancient plant fuel. Indiana Jones and the Epstein files. Don't look at them, Marion. Keep your eyes shut. Indiana Jones, didn't you canonically have a relationship with Marion Ravenwood when she was a teenager? Oh no. Marion, really don't look at the files now. An AI elf would take more water than an elf? Yeah, probably. Oh, my Uncle Bud was able to go home, I guess, tomorrow. He did his at-home test, so they took him home and made sure he could, like, walk up the stairs and cook food. Apparently that was one of the tests. So, yeah, he gets to go home before Christmas. I was worried he was going to get stuck in the home like they did to my Uncle Dan. It's got hydrocarbons. It's what engines crave. Yes. Delicious hydrocarbons. Dr. Jones, we have top men working on that list right now. Who? Top men. Cut to a warehouse. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Yeah, we don't even still have JFK files. Like, what was that? Over 60 years ago? I'm sure some of the people are still alive. Probably waiting for George Bush to die. The young one, I mean. You know, the one who's not dead. Bum, 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 bum. Battery found in the tombs having power? What does that mean? Are you talking about like those ancient Baghdad batteries? Oh. Oh, now Bud is being calm. Bud, are you being calm now? Are you a calm kitten? Calm kitten. Oh. I think one of these might be going to England, actually. Actually, there's a guy in Scotland asking for like 4 of them, so I told him I'd make him a quote in the new year. I definitely don't want to work on that right now. So I guess that would be a mega build. Didn't we do like a whole bunch of these? Like didn't we do like eight or yeah, we had like a super marathon where we did like 8 of them. What was that, like late summer? Whoop, 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 whoop. So is everyone ready for the Christmas time? La da 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 da. Mary Chrysler. This looks like the cup of a carpenter. Earth humans? Your human mother, I mean mother. Bill Cosby, you're weird. One more gift on Christmas Eve. I hope it arrives in time. Flava Flav. I think I saw Flavor Flav once at a hotel in Los Angeles. It was like a nice hotel, and there was like this short black dude with a clock hanging around his neck, and there's like a cameraman there, so I mean, probably was him. I didn't talk to him or anything. I just was like, wait a minute, is that Flavor Flav? Oh, that was probably like 15 years ago. Okay, so why? Whoa, my beer. Why? In Hebrew, Jehovah starts with a Y, Junior. He would have picked the right clock, yeah. This looks like the sundial of a carpenter. I've got a clock expert. I'm going to have him come in here and tell me what it's worth. And then like Flavor Flav walks in. Well, I'm going to have to get this Holy Grail put into a frame, and it's going to take me a while to sell it. I'll give you $1,000. Cool. Well, I hope it arrives in time. That's truly a last-minute gift. Oh. Well, if I print labels, well, I always use PayPal to print the labels. So all I have to do is go to the post office and drop them off. So how bad can that be? Ha 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 ha. Actually, it shouldn't be bad. You don't even, you just drop them off. You don't even have to wait in line. You just cut the line and drop them off. We have to get our hands on that Flavor Flav clock before the Nazis do, or the armies of darkness will march all over the earth. Yeah, bloody random. Amazon trucks. Most of the Amazon stuff around here comes on their own trucks now. I do have this theory that Amazon used the pandemic to get people unaddicted to 2-day shipping, because it used to be, at least where I live, even before there was an Amazon warehouse in Madison. It's only like 3 miles north of here, but even before that, like, you could order something and it would arrive in 2 days, like Flavor Flav clockwork. But it doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Or they have like, get 6% back on your Amazon Visa card if you choose no rush shipping. Actually, the last thing I ordered like that, it was 8% back. Can't remember what it was. It was something that I needed, but I didn't need like right away. So I was like, I'll take 8% back. Thank you very much. Ha 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 ha. I don't know how it came up in conversation, but I was talking to like this young bartender. I don't know how it came up, but she didn't know like where credit card points came from, and I told her, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's horrible." And I'm like, "That's capitalism." Oh, thank you, Frank. I hope you have a good Christmas over there as well. Yeah, my family's actually coming to visit this weekend, so that's why my sister's going to be on the stream, because she's going to be around. Oh. Well, I think it's more than 10 states bigger than the UK. Well, actually, yeah. No, well, yeah. Probably, gosh, probably more than 10. Because obviously Texas and Alaska, and like Wyoming, Montana, North and South Dakota, California. Okay, maybe it is just 10. It's always weird to think about, like, but I think that's also why, like, I think sometimes Europeans like wonder why America is obsessed with cars, and it's like America's like just a freaking big country. I mean, America, yeah, because America's basically like, it's like, I mean, it's it's kind of like Europe, where, because states are like little countries, sort of. Of course, we get to pay state and federal tax, so maybe it's actually worse. I don't know. Well, state income tax is a tiny fraction of what we have to pay for federal, which seems backwards if you think about it. Because what do I get from the federal government? I mean, at least my state taxes goes to, like, things in my state around me. My federal taxes go to bombs and destruction and broken levees. Yeah, I remember during COVID, there was like this big sign they printed up, and it was like, based off COVID guidelines and the square footage of the store, we can only allow 8,200 customers in the store at one time. And it's like, wow, this is so stupid. It's like, you did the math without even thinking about how stupid it sounds. It's like you would need like 20 more parking lots for there to be 8,000 people in your store. Yes, while I had to pay my own health insurance out of pocket, I paid to keep Henry Kissinger, America's Satan, alive for 100 years. Well, he's probably more like Cambodia's Satan. Let's see here. Yeah, I just thought it was dumb because, like, they did the math without actually thinking about how stupid it sounded. The Lindsey Graham's grinder account. Yeah, my tax dollars at work. Oh, speaking of signs, how much do the Republicans in the Senate spend making those giant cardboard cutouts? Like, let's spend thousands of dollars printing up giant cardboard cutouts with printouts of how much waste there is in government. It's like, well, you got some waste right there. Like, couldn't you just put up a big screen? And those things get tossed right into the trash. It's like, oh yeah, let's print up a bunch of cardboard signs like it's 1940. Yep, it's orange cat sleep time. Oh yeah, they had to like get like a really big filing cabinet to put them in. Then they use the Dewey Decimal System. Do you know the Dewey Decimal System? Yeah, those cardboard signs are so stupid. Well, they're probably not cardboard. They're probably like foam core, which makes them even more expensive. Oh, okay. These are lefties, which means I cut off the right magnet for no real reason. Yeah, steroids in baseball. Truly a matter of national security. Bud got a cat feeder. Oh, he got that months ago. It's been like, I think I've been using that for 2 months now. I think it only had one day where it malfunctioned. For some reason, the X motor got past the home switch, so it couldn't find the home. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. And I probably should have put in something to block it from happening again, but that's actually the only error it had, so that's not too bad. Once in, what, 60 days? Oh, thanks, Q's Tech Service. Yeah, I've been doing this for, it'll be 20 years next year. Oh, God. I'm old, Peter. Well, yeah, usually this time of day, Bud is just like sleeping anyway. So if he's not sleeping here, he's sleeping somewhere upstairs, and he sleeps pretty much all afternoon as well. Like he's kind of like an asshole, like in the morning, which sucks when I'm trying to wake up and work, but usually like just it's because he's got another cat bed under the Evil Dead pinball machine, like the work from home area. So usually he'll like sleep on that and be decent like after lunch. So yeah, he actually sleeps probably like most of the day, but then he'll like kind of like run around and be rowdy like around dinner time. Or like just when I came down here, that's why he was still kind of wound up when I came down here. Do 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 do. Oh, I did watch 8-Bit Guy's new video today. I like how he always draws like memory maps. It's like, well, I'm going to put it here in memory and then here and here and here. I think he does have really good production quality. Making like maps and diagrams of stuff. Because, you know, that all takes time. What is the drink of choice? I got the Coors Banquet, like, grenade balls, as seen on Cobra Kai. Well, as I've said many times, I'd prefer not to build these at night, but now that I'm coding full time, I don't really have any other time to do it. I definitely don't want to do it on the weekends, so I don't know. Doing the stream is a way to cope with it, and also, you know, some beer helps me cope too, because I don't know. Just, you know, I don't necessarily want to work on the evenings, but I still do it. Ow. And my signal, unleash Nell. Yes, I agree, Guy Incognito. In fact, I would say YouTube is basically a zoo of autism. Autism Zootopia. Hey, if you left your kids alone with 8-Bit Guy, they'd be well protected by all of his guns. He'd be like, I will protect you. Protect me from what? Bears? Probably a lot of bears in Texas, you know. Big bear problem down there. Next pinball collab. Now, I suppose he could probably well, I don't know. Does he program modern stuff or just? Well, if he can program old stuff, then he could definitely program modern stuff because it's harder to program old stuff than modern stuff. I'm sure he could do it. Yeah, LGR Clint is definitely a lot. He's not like kind of dorky like LGR is. I mean, all this computer stuff is dorky. Come on. We're all dorks. Yes, as long as he doesn't take a paperclip into it, we should be good. Well, this menu code, Dylan already wrote it. I just had to like figure out how it worked and then put my own data structures into it. I did change a few things like for legibility. Because the thing I always think about with these pinball machines is you're selling it to like 50 to 60. You're selling it to like middle-aged men like my own age, and so I just always assume people can't, their eyes are bad. So I make sure everything is like easy to read. Accessibility. TNT. They don't have an Evil Dead yet? Did they order one, or is this an arcade that just doesn't have one? Evil Dead actually earns really well in location. Like the first Evil Dead that was on location, it actually got I think he put it there on a Thursday, and by Sunday, it actually had so many quarters in it wouldn't take anymore. It was kind of like that legend about Pong, but it actually happened. It happened to us. It earned really, really well. It still earns really well, but it was like just shocking. We were shocked how well it earned. Because remember, when you sell an arcade machine or whatever, the people that make it, all they do, they just build the machine and sell it, right? And then the operator stick it someplace, and then typically the operator, like if you stick it in a bar, the operator gets half of the coins and the bar gets the other half. That's how it works, typically. But obviously if a game earns well, then you'll sell more of them. So even though, like, well, I don't know, maybe the manufacturers do take a slice now that everything's like connected, but typically, yeah, it's just, but it's still good for a game to earn well, obviously, because more people will buy it. Avatar 3 sucks. Yeah. I heard that it's like even longer than the last one, so it's like, ugh. I think I'm good. I actually like the second one better than the first one, but I don't have any desire to see this one. It's like, okay, I get it. Fern Gully in space. I'm good. And it is Fern Gully in space. It's not Pocahontas. It's not Dance with Wolves. It's Fern Gully. Yeah, the revenue is, whoever bought the machine and then the location. So operator and location. Probably not Guy Incognito. Home sales, I think even Stern home sales are like over 50%. And it's probably like 80% for the games that we sell. So it's a little bit more resistant with economic stuff because you're basically already selling it to rich people. But, even then, rich people only have so much space. So I still try to, I'm still working on, well, we're doing like 2 more modes for Evil Dead, then it'll be considered feature complete. We're still going to support it, but like, hopefully by February it is feature complete. And then we are going to add a Midnight Madness for the Halloween update, but that'll be later next year. Because I did make it so like when you set the system time in Linux, in the scenes where you're in the cabin and you can see the clock on the wall, the clock actually shows the actual time. So it's like, well, I guess since I did that, I should probably put in a Midnight Madness mode. So, yeah. Because I was like, guess what, Corwin? I spent 3 hours making the clock be accurate in this game. And he's like, oh, God damn it. And I'm like, well, don't worry. There'll be a payoff. The payoff is going to be huge, Morty. It's going to be huge. It's a clock, Morty! I'm Clock Rick! Hey, that part. How's it going? Yeah, there's some other stuff in the game. I don't think people probably even notice. Like, when you're in the basement, there's like this blood that's dripping out of the pipe, and it lands on the table, and the blood puddle very slowly gets larger, but I probably should have made it bigger so people would have noticed it. Because I don't think people probably don't even know it's there. I want to do, like, even better, like, scenes for the next game. I want to, like, build more stuff in 3D and Unity. Or, well, have 3D stuff in Unity, I should say. So we shall see. Because, like, an Evil Dead, one of the modes was Destroy the Book mode, and it was regarding the first movie. But in the first movie, how the licensing worked. In the first movie, we could not show. We could show all of the human actors from the first movie, but we could not show the book or the dagger as they appeared in the first movie. So in all the artwork of that game, the book and the dagger are how they appear in the second movie, because it's a separate license, believe it or not. So we had this. Someone came up with this mode called Destroy the Book. That was a mode involving the first movie, and so they've got the part where he's trying to like snag the book with a necklace, and like the Deadites are attacking him, and he's like laying on the floor. And it's like, oh, okay, so blah, 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 you do this, and like you make a shot 3 times to throw the necklace at the book 3 times to snag the book. But it's like, well, wait a minute, we can't show any of the footage of the book. So I went in and I chopped, well, I mean, I always do this. I thought about making a video about it, but I just never got around to it. Like, so like for something like that, I go in and I've got like the movie in Adobe Premiere, and I'll chop it up by each shot, or like each clip. So it'll be like, you know, here's a clip of a creature whacking Ash. Here's a clip of Ash throwing the necklace. But then the next shot will be the necklace touching the book by the fireplace. It's like, okay, well, I can't use that because I can't show that particular version of the book. So I separated all the footage out of like what I could actually show, which was pretty much everything except for the book in that scene. And so then what I did was I already had a book that I'd made in 3D for like the end of ball bonus and stuff, and it had like, you know, working pages and stuff, and it really only had like 3 pages, but as you turn the page it would go like it would like the page would do that, and then it would move down a little bit, then the page would do that, and then when the second page moved it would spawn the first page under the third page, so when the third page moved it would reveal the first page, so you could like just endlessly turn the pages and like spawn new data on them. So I already had that built in 3D. So in the Unity scene, I built a little scene, like it's like little, almost like little stages, and so I built like this little stage with its own camera, so you could switch the focus to that camera, and it had the 3D book. There's the book, and then there was like the floor, which Chris Franchi drew. And then in Fusion 360, I modeled the necklace from the movie in 3D. And then actually I had ChatGPT help me with like the script. So there's like the necklace on a chain. Well, there's a necklace, which has, well, you know, kind of looks like this. You know, it has like a magnifying glass in it, and then it actually has I can't remember, like 50 chain links. Well, there's 100 chain links, 50 in each direction. And so there's that little scene that I set up where you see the book and it's just like sitting there, but then like off camera there's like this ledge, right, in 3D. So like if the book is here, there's like a ledge here, but you don't see the ledge. Ledge is off camera. So the necklace spawns like this on the ledge. Again, off camera. So you're just kind of seeing the book, right? Like his point of view. And so actually it's got the necklace and it's got the chain. It spawns it with a chain in either direction. And then when you make the shot to try to get the book, it actually applies force to the 3D object. So, and then I use 3D to create a scene for the movie since I couldn't use the book. But then all the physics are real. So the necklace going out has physics and the chain comes to it. And then when you get the final shot, it gives the necklace a little bit more force to make sure it goes past the end of the book. And there's an object collider on it. So then when the necklace gets pulled back, it takes the book with it. And so that's actually all done in engine. And the motivation was, as I mentioned, because we couldn't show the book, but it was also fun to like make a little scene like that. And like the gag of how it works is like after the necklace like goes out like that, the chains are kind of hanging back here. So the chains have a different collider on them. So there's almost like a claw machine. So there's a claw machine in physics. Here, again, you don't see it, but it backs up and it grabs the end of the chains. And that's what pulls the necklace back. And then if the necklace almost has like a little hook collider on the end. So if it goes far enough, the hook collider will grab the end of the book and take it with it. So that was fun. That took me like a day and a half. Totally worth it though. So I want to do more of that stuff. Because it's also just kind of fun to do, you know. The number next to some people's names. I think that's like the chat ranking. So like whoever like chats the most is like number one. I believe that's what it means. So you can feel like you're super cool or something. No, Frankfurt, these are actual real full-size pinball machines that we manufacture. I've been programming them full-time for about 3.5 years now. That's why I build these controllers at night, because when I used to just do my own thing, I would do this during the day, but now that I am a full-time pinball programmer, my side projects such as this I have to do on the side. So that's why I do these at night. And that's why I started streaming, is because it makes it a little bit more tolerable to work at night. Yep, you're the biggest loser. Yep. Yeah. Oh, I think we're just about ready for test number 1. I am still a 1099 contractor. I have been one of those for 21 years now. And I mean, there's good things about it, but I don't know. Actually, since I just work like 40 hours a week, 9 to 5, I guess it's mostly negative because I have to makes my taxes more complicated and I have to like buy my own health insurance. Well, I'm glad you liked the show. It's got a little too, the schedule got a little too much for me. That's one of the reasons I didn't do it anymore. And you know, Windows 11 still has the same ancient Windows 95 dialog box for this. A, B, X, Y, good. Right bumper, left bumper, whatever that is, and that, yep. Up, left, right, down. That's a Bobby win. No, I do single sole proprietor, so I don't. I probably should do that, an LLC, but I don't. And the reason I don't is because yes, I would have to do my taxes twice. Although, again, there are certain things I could probably do to my advantage, which I probably actually will do if I'm going to be self-employed. Well, I don't know even how. Oh, damn it! Crap. The tab broke. Crap! Well, it's not really. Do you mean? Are you talking about self-employment taxes? Is that what you mean? Because like if you do like a sole proprietor LLC, you just do your taxes. But if you just do sole proprietor, but there's other things you can do if you're an LLC, which I probably should do, but haven't done it yet, so we'll see. Yes, yeah, yes, I'm very aware of that. The license for Bud Cam. Well, the thing that a lot of people do, and maybe I should do, is you set up an LLC. And so, like, let's say you're doing long-time contract work, like with someone like Spooky. You set up the LLC, and then they pay the LLC, and then the LLC pays you. And the reason you do that is so LLC pays you less than the total income. So it means you have to do your taxes twice, but there's actually a lot of benefits to it, which are legal. They seem a little sketch, but, you know, it's like one of those things like, again, like a lot of people do it. Well, because like in America, corporations are taxed at a lower rate than, well, not all the time. Well, no, they are. Yeah, they have like a lower tax rate than like an individual. So if the LLC keeps a certain amount of the money, that money is still taxed, but it's taxed at a lower rate than what you pay. So by making your divestment lower than the total income, it reduces your tax liability, but you still maintain the ownership of the value that the company collected as well. Unregistered Bud Cam. Bud, are you an unregistered kitten? No, I'm also stupid GST. I should do that, but yeah, the main hang up is like not wanting to do my taxes twice. But yeah, basically you own the LLC, but then the LLC pays you a salary which is less than the total that it takes. And then I think if you divest the money out of the LLC, it's also at a lower tax rate. So it's legal, but it seems fishy, but I don't know. I try to be honest with all that stuff. I mean, it's still, again, I don't know. Like, for those that don't know, so Social Security, Medicare is about 12.5% tax rate, so it's a lot. So that's the full rate. So if you have a normal employer, your employer pays 50% of that, which is one of the reasons that it costs way more than $15 an hour to have someone make $15 an hour. Also, unemployment insurance is also a huge expense for companies. Right, so when you're self-employed, you have to pay 100% of your Social Security, Medicare, because but basically a company that you work for pay. Well, yeah, so they basically match that. So you pay half of it, so you pay 6% and they pay the other 6%. Which, again, is why employees cost more than their salary. Even before you get to stuff like insurance, because, yeah, you've got... that's weird. The X button isn't working. What the fart? Yeah. Yes, that would be nice. Are these batteries dead? There are no taxes on tips now. Yeah, I wonder how that works. Are these... I don't think I'm a tipped employee. I don't think that counts. Oh, and it's also... it's up to the first $25,000, so that also has a limit. Oh, maybe those batteries are just dead. The YouTube... I think Google takes approximately 40... I think it's 40% of the AdSense. So if your CPM is like $4, then it's actually like... probably like $6. No, you want to know a fun fact about YouTube? Your YouTube CPM varies off the income level of the people watching your videos. So there are like doctors or lawyers, if they have like a very specific type of viewer, they can actually get CPMs of like $20, which is like 5x the normal. Yeah, GST, I think that's the hack with that. No tax on tips? We were supposed to claim tax? I mean, come on. I don't think, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's just a bait and switch. Also, from a political standpoint, well, it's not even really political. Like, people who people in tip industries typically vote Democrat, so that's just Republicans trying to steal those votes. Yeah, that's politics, I guess. I personally don't agree with it, because I don't see why certain incomes should be considered greater or less than others. I mean, shouldn't income be income? Also, like, the hyper tip culture had gotten out of control anyway, and so, because I think that's a big part of it, is like wages had already gone up more than like the market kind of bear, and it caused a lot of inflation. So it's like, well, we can't give you any more money, but you get to work at this kiosk where there's a tip. You get to harass every customer for a tip. So that's almost like making $17 an hour, isn't it? So it kind of feels like that would get even worse now with all these exemptions. Broccoli-haired kids. Well, I don't know. They probably just have enough views. No, it's not that you don't make money. It's that your CPM, the cost per mile, is higher if YouTube, because YouTube knows everything about everyone, or Google does. So, but you know, they know all the demographics of your customers. So like when Google decides what ad to serve you, they're taking your income into account. That actually even works with like old school like even like old school TV, like a good example, Boston Legal, that lawyer show that had William Shatner in it. The ratings weren't super good, but the demographic that watched it was really well off. So the show was actually still profitable because they could charge advertisers more for that show because they had the demographic showing that the people who watched the show were rich. Yeah, Kamala did say that, but she she stole it from Trump. Like, Trump outlefted her on that one. Although I think, again, as I said, I think I don't agree with that either way. I mean, I would say just tax cuts would be better. Well, can't afford tax. I don't know. Yeah, that's a whole bag of worms. But I think it's a shell game either way, where it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to report the tips you weren't reporting. Now, yes, I know there are places, I mean, there are definitely bars you go to where like you try to pay in cash and they almost scoff at you. But then you go to downtown Madison and a lot of those places don't even accept cash. So the likelihood of the tips not being reported is much higher. Who do you sell left-handed controllers? Well, these controllers are for people who, through some sort of disability, cannot use both hands to grip a controller. So if you only have your left hand, you buy a left-handed controller, and if you only have your right hand, you buy a right-handed controller. So, there's been a variety of like, well, there's a PayPal form, so people just buy them now. But in the past, when people would email me and ask about it. A ton of motorcycle accidents. That was probably the number one thing that I would see. But also like, wow, shit, there could be anything. There could be stroke, cancer, regular accidents, birth defects, cerebral palsy. There's a lot of reasons why. But even like when people go to rehab, like one of the first things you have to learn how to do in rehab is how to tie your own shoe again, because it's actually really complicated. Yeah, YouTube has gotten really bad with ads, and I would say like in the last couple months since YouTube has started Operation Get Rid of Everyone, the ads have gotten even worse. Like in the last 2 months. All right. Losing your hand in a poker game? Yeah, that's a good one. Lost one eye in a poker game. I'll be right back after these messages. Rough housing. Roadhouse. Roadhouse. Ew. 4 a.m. Wow. That's way in the future. Where is that? Like Germany or Egypt or something? Yes, Bob, you are catching a rare Tuesday night stream. Very rare. Oh, Belgium. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, Belgium's in the same time zone as Egypt, isn't it? So, pretty good guess. Oh, we were just talking about. Were you on last night? We were actually talking about the Netherlands and water dams and stuff, and Archimedes screws. The Girl on the Moon. Save me proprioception. You know, I've somehow never drilled into myself after all these years. And only had one bad X-Acto knife injury. That's not too bad. That's another reason to not do this at night. Yeah, because when that happened, that was in 2021, so that was still when I was working building controllers during the day. Well, that was a lot of blood. And I couldn't help, when I drove to the clinic, I was like, oh God, I've turned into my stepdad. Because he was always like shooting nails into his hand and having to drive to the hospital with a nail in his hand. I'm like, oh God, I've turned into him. But it was a nice new blade, so it healed up. You wouldn't even know it's there unless you knew it was there, which I do. And all the nerves have come back, so win-win. See, you can't even tell. It was right. You can see part of it. That's so. I was actually I was fixing one of these controllers, right? And see, I always thought these would fail, but actually the biggest failure point was the stick drift. So I was like, I think I was like holding it like this, and I was like trying to scrape off one of the old tack switches. That was back when I glued in the controller, and it slipped, and then it went like that. So it was a pretty good flappo skin, and I was like, oh crap. And then of course, you know, it's not like the movie. Well, of course, people know that, yeah. So it was like like about 10 seconds, and it started bleeding, and I'm like, oh Jesus. Oh well. But yeah, it was a brand new blade, so the doctor was able to. He's like, well, this is a really clean cut, so this will look nice. The worst part was when he stuck the anesthesia. He's like, I'm going to use the smallest needle I have, okay? And so he sticks it right in. He's like, it still hurt. That hurt the most. All right, so now we need our Hall effects. Oh, net bug. I was I was at the bar one time, and I was talking to this couple, and the guy if you don't know what this is, don't look it up. The guy had gotten degloved, and he showed me his hand, and actually they did a pretty good job. I mean, you could tell, but I mean, ugh. Of course, he had to tell me the whole sordid story. Speaking of gloves, like one thing I still have never finished heating my garage. But I was out there doing some stuff last weekend, and yes, never, ever, 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 ever use power tools while wearing gloves. No matter how cold your fingers are, do not wear gloves while wearing power tools. Or while using power tools. All right, so we're going to put some Hall effect sticks in this one. Yeah. Do not Google. Do not redeem. Do not redeem. Do not Google it. Snowblower handed? Why did they stick their hands into the blades or something? You know what tool always scares me the most is table saws. Table saws make me nervous. Yes, I know what a saw stop is. Yes, I know it's cheaper than reconstructive surgery on your hand. I get these off Amazon for $5 each, which is a lot for such a part, but what you're really paying for is like the peace of mind with reduced repair returns. That's what you're really paying for. That's the way I look at it. We were talking about this last night, Bloody Random. Whatever changed with potentiometer sticks was around 2018. And they're all still made by the same company, Alps. And from what I've seen, it's just the carbon film wears out faster. It's not a mechanical failure, it's a carbon film failure. And it's like, so really? You're skimping on carbon? Really? Really? Well, nothing has really seemed to change inside the potentiometer. I mean, it looks mechanically the same. I just noticed that you'll see worn, because I had like when I bought my Xbox Series X, and the first game I played on it was Elden Ring, and I had stick drift like 70 hours into that game. So I mean, so I was able to time it pretty accurately. So I was like, oh yeah, because I've been playing this game for 70 hours. It's the only game I've been playing. And I got stick drift. And I think there's a video about it on this channel where I took it apart just to see what I could see. And the main thing I saw was wear on the carbon ring. Up, down, left, right. Bobby Dazzler, Kamagutsa. I'll have to reprint another one of those. I'll probably do that just tomorrow morning. Run it off the computer. Yeah, it's usually always one axis or the other, not both. So you can buy well, these are all the pots I've removed when I've started using Hall effect sensors. So now I have a bunch of extra old school pots. Where are those? Had a whole bin of them. I have a whole bucket full. Where? Am I fucking blind? Well, I'm getting there. Where are they? Okay, that PCB adapter, D-pad. What's this? 3x3mm recessed. Oh, this is magnets. Did I move that bin? Now I'm gaslighting myself. Is it? It's not in. No, it's not in here, is it? Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can buy spare potentiometers, but they have a different range than the ones that come on the controllers themselves. See how they're white instead of black? It don't matter if you're black or white. Ow! Welcome to the Cafe Hades, where it's always morning in America, even in the afternoon. All I want is a Pepsi. Tracked! Dad, it's the Red Hot Chili Peppers again. Oh, I'll take that into the den. I'll go into the den and look at this big screen TV. The only thing about the future this movie got right. Man, I got so many joke faxes in 2015, I didn't know what to do with it myself. Ah, Mom, it's kind of a joke fax. The Linux computers and spooky pinball machines. They're off the shelf single board computers. We were using these like little small ones called upboards, but then got a much better computer for Evil Dead, much better SSD speeds, which helped a lot. Like I did Texas Chainsaw, I actually ran the Unity profiler a lot, and I actually never really needed it on Evil Dead. It was that much of a difference. Oh yeah, isn't Thomas F. Wilson like a comedian now? He does stand up. Did Biff become an auto detailer in the changed future because he crashed into manure trucks so much? Huh? Think about that. Another thing to think about, if George McFly was so much more successful, Why did he have the same house? Da, da, da. Yeah, we're finishing the 2 controllers from yesterday. She became the girl from yesterday. Alexa, how much would $300 in 1955 be today?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I thought you had a new AI upgrade. Well, we don't actually know that he got his car detailed the second time. Only the first time that it cost $300. Yeah, he brings his car back again. I gotta get my car detailed again. You know, I could show you how to detail this car yourself, and you could save $300. Wow, $300, a ton of money. I'll do it. And then he becomes a car detailer. Well, I'm sure someone whose hands are free, unlike mine, could check inflationcalculator.org.gov.net and find out the answer. Get in there. What the fart? Fart! 900 to 1,000? Well, that's like an oil change now. Per yesterday's conversation. Hey everybody, you know they're trying to make it so that if you crash your car in your manure truck, you can only get it detailed at an authorized service station? Well, be a tendency. I'll hunt you down and shoot you like a duck. Oh, so I'm not the only person to think about that with their house? I mean, it is a valid question. I mean, that kind of happened in the second movie, too, where he's like, I live in Hilldale, this is bitchin'. But then, like the lady cops are like, this place is a shithole. So I guess that's the impression. It's like Hilldale must, or whatever it was called, must have been like a nice place in 1985, but in 2015, it was nothing but a breeding ground for tranks, low bows, and zip heads. Yeah, they ought to tear this whole place down. All right, looks pretty good. Oh, something else, GSG Computing. Think about it. Doc drove the DeLorean straight at him and Marty. So was that so that if it didn't work, he would commit suicide? Huh? Think about it. It's like, because like if the time machine didn't work, he would have been dead. Him and Marty probably would have been killed. Which begs the question, why is that Marty's problem? Oh, what was the other thing? Like I saw this theory too, where it's like Doc is living. Wait, Doc's mansion has the same garage that he's living in 1985. So why wouldn't Marty know where it is? Like when he saw the street, he didn't recognize the street name, although maybe the street name would have changed. The clocks are 20 minutes slow, confirms time travel being real. I don't get it. How does that confirm time travel being real? I've heard this before. I just don't quite understand how that works. Oh, so in 1985, Doc Brown lives on John F. Kennedy Drive. Is that what happened? Well, yeah, because nobody knew who. Well, Kennedy was a senator, but he wasn't a president yet. Also, they didn't have the time circuits in 1955. Couldn't they have used Marty's Casio CA53 calculator watch as the time circuit? I think the most impressive thing that Doc Brown did wasn't building a time machine. It was that Doc Brown from 1985 could remember from memory how to build a circuit from 30 years in the past to redesign the time circuits. That's the most impressive thing that Doc Brown did. The black man. Hey, they kind of did that joke, remember? Because they had Mayor Goldie Wilson, remember? In the cafe. A colored mayor, that'll be the day. They already did that joke. But now they could do the joke with Trump. Because, yeah. Because back in the 80s, Trump was like the default rich person. It was an experiment that isolated the home and took it back in time to confirm the flux capacitor is properly functioning. Huh? So it was like Primer, where it was like a localized area of time travel? Oh, It's a Wonderful Half-Life. That was actually done for our podcast back in 2010. So that's actually very old content, but I just thought it would be fun to remake or re-release it for the holidays. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, the other thing about Back to the Future, is like 1.21 gigawatts. Sorry, Marty, there's no way in 1955 to generate that kind of power. But actually, there was. The Hoover Dam totally existed in 1955, and they could have driven like 7 hours to it. Yeah, they could be like, dun, like driving across the Hoover Dam, dun, 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 dun. But that wouldn't have been as dramatic. They would have needed more permits too. Because the Hoover Dam it's 2,000 megawatts, which would be 2 gigawatts. Yeah, Zoe, we used to do the benheck.com podcast. We did I think we did like bi-weekly episodes for like 4 years. And then it kind of fell off when I started doing my show. So I think we did some throughout the 2010s, but they're still on my website if you want to listen to them. There were some good predictions. Like I was looking through it and like when I was like grabbing the files for that video, there was one from like 2017 where we predicted Microsoft would make a nuclear-sized acquisition, and that did end up happening. But yeah, so we would always make like these spoof parody audio play intros. Like we had Mario Cop and Lord of the Red Rings of Light, and then It's a Wonderful Half-Life was actually one of the last ones we did. So that's where all that came from. Well, yeah, you could. Thing is, they didn't have unleaded gasoline in 1955 either. Like, can you put leaded gasoline into an unleaded engine? I mean, I suppose you can. The other thing I've thought about this since I was a kid. It's like, why didn't they just go back into the cave and reinforce the part of the fuel line of the DeLorean that got ripped? I guess that would make a paradox, but you know they could have done that because the DeLorean in the cave was sitting there the entire time they were doing all the train shit. A new Ben Heck movie? Oh god, I don't know. I don't think that's ever going to happen now. I'd like to. I think it'd be fun, but it's just God. That's a young man's game. Although I do have this. But I do have this really, really stupid idea. You know they still make this and they still sell it? Look at that. It's really expensive though. I shot 2 test reels back in 2024, so I bought some more because I have another camera to try. So if I ever did anything, I would probably do something really stupid like make a Super 8 short film. Retro, you know. Regular gas messes with the catalytic converter. Yeah, because when the DeLorean was like what, 1982. So that would have been regular or unleaded gas at that time. Is anyone else old enough to get triggered when you see regular unleaded at the gas station? It makes you think of when the pumps had regular and unleaded. I mean, I still remember when that was a thing. Yeah, it's $40 for one of these, and it's 3 minutes, and then processing is probably about $30 a reel shipped. So you're looking at like $70 for 3 minutes, and it's a negative. So, well, I got my scanner rig now. Actually, I do have a workflow to scan the negative film. I have all that figured out. Well, actually, not entirely figured out. Like, I think I need like to make a custom LUT for it, a lookup table. I've got it mostly figured out. But yeah, I have done automated scans of modern Super 8 that I've exposed. I don't know if it might be on my YouTube channel. I know some of my other scans were. I don't know if the modern stuff was on there or not. But I had some pretty good results using some LUTs in DaVinci Resolve. Because when you have negative film, it's not just negative. You have to remove the tint of the film, because the film is biased orange, which becomes green, I think, when you invert it. So you have to subtract that from it. You can actually set up filters to do it pretty easily in DaVinci Resolve. And the reason I use DaVinci Resolve is because Adobe Premiere does not have an 18 frames a second setting, which is lame. I think both of these are good to go. I can show you the rig. Let's see if it fits here. I don't know if you guys, maybe you guys have seen. I don't know. I was making a video about it, but I didn't finish it yet. Let's see if it fits on this space. It's actually in the other room here. Oh yeah, no problem. This is using the rubber feet from that printer I took apart 2 weeks ago or whatever that was. Yeah, I just got my oil change last week, and I swear to God, it jumped like $20, or like, it jumped up way a big time since my last one. I guess everything's expensive now. Game over. So yeah, this is the. Well, I'm getting it all mounted, but this is the Super 8 scanner that I designed earlier this year. So you've got over here. This is the take-up reel. I'm waiting on a power supply. Actually, that's the thing that I got at 8% slow shipping discount. But you got your AC power input here. So I got like a 24 volt, 12 volt, 5 volt power supply coming, because it's 24 for the motors, 24 for the fans, and 12 volts for the light. So this is a standard like A15 cabinet lighting, basically. I can't remember what, I think it's like 5,000 Kelvin. And so there's just a skate bearing idler here. This is where the film starts. And then this is just a lot of the stuff is just to keep the film from unwinding on itself. Like, well, actually here I can go, I can show you the whole thing. Wait, I gotta take a leak first. Oh, never mind. That reel's upstairs. Ooh. Anyway, you put you either put a 3-inch reel or a 7-inch reel here, and then this. So the film goes this way, right? So then you got this leader here that rotates, obviously. So you have this because if there's reverse jerk, if the film goes this way, then the film can unravel and drop down. So you got the spring-loaded guy just to like basically keep the film from going off the edge. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Zoe. Your raspy videos back in the day is what got me into IT and tech. Oh, awesome. Thanks to continue and inspire others and looking out for the small fries, building accessibility controllers even to this day. Heart. Thank you very much for the super chat. Is there a film that doesn't have the sprocket holes? No, I think pretty much all film has sprocket holes, doesn't it? Like anything on a reel. Yeah. So this is just an idler, right? Using a bunch of skate bearings. So it comes in. So it goes in through here. So all the surfaces the film touch, well, except for this one, all have microfiber cloths. So you can see actually picked up a decent amount of dust already. Kind of look like rust, doesn't it? But I rotated these around. And then actually this part here, I took it apart to clean it, so I had to rebuild it. But this wasn't removable before, but then I made it, because this has like little arms on it and stuff. So I made this one removable so you can take it apart easily and clean it. But when you're done assembling it, it goes right in there like that. So yeah, we come here, go around here, another tensioner here. So these two guys, this is the real trick. These have sprocket holes on it, but they're plastic, obviously, so it's less destructive. So what I did was these are two X motors. They're tied in parallel, so they move at the same time. Because if you tie your stepper motors in parallel, they synchronize. So what I did was I did the math, and so each one of these sprockets is 20 frames. So by doing that, when I did the because it's got a 3D printer controller, when I did the Marlin, I did the math in such a way so that 1 unit on the x-axis equals 1 frame. So you're not actually moving it in millimeters, you're moving it in frames. So the reason you do that is because since the frame height is like, it's like 4.58 millimeters or something like that, but it's, you know, it's not a whole number. And even if you have I think this has floating point on it, because it's like a STM32 M4. But even if you do have floating point, you still have remainders and whatnot. So what I did was I went, okay, if we have 200 steps per rotation times 16, which is 3,200, so it's 3,200 steps per rotation divided by 20, and you get an even number. So that way, you just say we consider 1 unit of measurement 1 millimeter to be, what is that, 100 and whatever. Well, it'd be 320 divided by, so it'd be 160. So it's 160 steps per film frame. So that never changes, and that way you always have an even number, which makes it stay in sync better. So yeah, you come through here, blah, 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 blah. Then there's like tensioner wheels here, and then there's a removable diffuser cartridge. And the reason it's removable is because, well, I don't have it here, but there's a bomb sight cartridge you put in, and you do that so you can make sure that the microscope is aimed properly. So you come out here, so you go around again. So you have to make sure that the film has proper tension here, so this all stays in sync. Yeah, when you move one, you can feel it in the other one, because you're generating a current by moving one and moving it. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, yeah, because you're generating a current. So you come back here, blah, 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 and you come back here. So this is the take-up reel. This one is powered. And what you do is there's a take-up reel that I designed. So when you start out, the empty take-up reel is 32.7 millimeters in diameter. It's all metric. So you put that number into the program, and that's your take-up reel starting diameter. And so what it does is it calculates the take-up. So every time it does a rotation, it figures out what the circumference is and then divides that into the frame height. And so it knows how much to take it up. So this moves, it moves intelligently, unlike an old projector where it takes up the frames. Although it actually has a drop frame, like a literal drop frame. So I think it's every 50 frames, it does not advance the take-up reel, just to introduce a little bit of slack, just enough to keep from being tight. And it worked out really well. And then it's, I think it's like a Big Tree Tech SKR 1.3. So, I mean, I could have probably slapped in like a crapnesium board. Like, what's this from? I don't even know what this is from. Like, you could have used any. I mean, I probably should have used one of these older boards because who cares, right? What is this even from? Oh, this is from the FlashForge Creator. Yeah, so this is just going to be a MakerBot clone board. Probably running... Marlin? Yeah, so then you have your light. So the light dumps into the bed thermistor. That was actually one of the hardest parts, was like getting it to run a light using the bed thermistor, because you have to disable a bunch of safety stuff in the Marlin to make it work. But then, yeah, there's just two axes. There's dual X for the take-up, and then, I'm sorry, for the sprockets, and then Y for the take-up. But they do get warm, so I've got like a 24-volt fan blower on both of those heat sinks, but we only have two. I think this is the TMS 2208 stepper driver. Yeah, but sorry, this is one of the many projects I got done in 2025. So I kind of like to take this like to VCF Midwest next year, because I think it'd be fun to like set it up at the table. I think old school computer people would get a kick out of it. Like maybe I could scan footage for people. It's 2 frames per second, so a 3-inch reel, which is this is a 3-inch reel. A 3-inch reel takes like 24 minutes. A 7-inch compilation reel, which is 8 of those reels, takes 4 hours. But you know, it worked out pretty well. The one of the big tricks I had to figure out that ChatGTP helped me with was well, it's got there's a microscope, and then there's a Raspberry Pi high quality camera, 4K here with Sony sensor. And it connects right to the microscope using like a C20 adapter. There's a Raspberry Pi 5 under there. When I first started doing it, I was using like a USB thumb drive, and even if you get like a nice one, they're not the best. And then ChatGTP suggested, and it was right. It was like, well, if you buy a SATA 3 drive, a SATA 3 SSD with a USB 3 enclosure, it will actually work better, because any ancient, even like a 10-year-old SATA 3 SSD will have a larger cache than a modern fancy thumbstick. And it was right. And so that actually solved all the issues, because when you record like a longer bit of film onto a thumbstick, after a while it would slow down because of the cache would get backed up. Well, because there's a cache in Linux and there's a cache on the controller. But yeah, with like the SSD, or I'm sorry, the SATA 3 external SSD, it ran full speed the entire time. So it stayed consistent at like 420 milliseconds per frame. Yeah, but it worked out pretty good. So I'm just bolting it all into a big platform so I can like put a hook on it, like store it in a closet or something, and then yeah, it might be fun to like take this to like VCF and just like let it run. It'd be a good conversation piece.
Although I've already scanned all of my dad's footage. So really, what would be left is scanning footage for other people, or if I shot a short film, I scan my negatives and then convert them. Well, yeah, there's a blower fan here, so the film goes right over this hole here, which is a 24-volt blower. So a lot of this is about removing as much dust as possible off the film before it even gets to the frame. But yeah, so this was my big project earlier this year. Although there was like a big Linux issue where like this other guy was trying to build a copy of this, and what was it like? Because we were trying to figure out what the problem was, when we realized the camera drivers had changed from like, because like I think I got this. I think it was in June when I got this working in June. And like if you get like the newer Raspberry Pi image, the camera libraries change. So what I'll probably end up doing is like making doubly sure I have a backup of all this, and then I'll probably just update this Pi to the newest to the newest operating system and libraries, and then basically rewrite it to use the new libraries. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of don't like Linux, because that sucks. So the project that was working in June is no longer working like later in the year. To scan a reel, a 3-inch reel takes about 24 minutes, and then like the 7-inch reels, which are 8 of these reels put together, is about 4 hours, because it's roughly 24 minutes times 8. Oh, and it uses computer vision, so mechanically the sprocket holes stay centered pretty well because of how I did this. But then what it does is it uses the still camera mode. When you're jogging it and setting it up, it uses streaming video mode. But when you're actually running it, it switches the camera to still camera mode, 8K, 4K. And then computer vision, it detects the sprocket hole, which would be white in this case. It detects a sprocket hole, and there's like some alignment parameters you can put into it. So you can also like try to mask off ripped sprocket holes. But it looks for the sprocket hole, and then it looks for the top and the bottom, and then it takes the frame. Basically crops the frame by determining where the center of the sprocket hole is. So, and this exports PNGs. So once you've captured these frames and exported them, you actually don't have to do any post-processing image stabilization. It's already stabilized in the frame saving step. It's pretty simple. So really, it just uses computer vision to find the center of the sprocket hole and use that as the center of the frame. Because when you set, there's like a live video screen. When you set the parameters, you're like, okay, well, I want that sprocket detection. The sprocket's always on the left. I want the sprocket detection to start here and then stop here. So like if your sprocket hole had a tear here, you could set it to only use the left-hand side of the sprocket, which would prevent the tear from messing up the detection. And then you say, okay, from that point, or from this point, the frame is going to be this wide, and then you can change the height. So the actual pixel size might change depending on how you frame it, but then all of the still image frames that you get are locked to that parameter, and they're all automatically stabilized vertically based off that. It works out pretty well. So that was why I was impressed when I tested some of the scans on this crappy projector. Like, there's a projector that says it takes 1080p, but I had the scans as MP4s on a thumb drive that I stuck into the back of that scanner. And those files were like, I mean, a lot of them are different based off the damage of the film. So on average, it was probably like 2,000 wide by 1,400 high. And that crappy scanner actually scaled it properly. So it actually scaled what was roughly a square image properly into its 1280 by 720 LCD. Not bad. This is all on GitHub if you want to like build your own. It's obviously a very simple project. Oh, and this is the focus. And it also uses computer vision to give you a focus score. So you can do it by sight, but it will also give you a number. And so the higher the number is, the better, and that's where you lock it off. And then just like old school camcorders, when you go into focus mode, it blows up the image so you can see it in greater detail. No, I didn't use any FFmpeg in this at all. The PNGs take up a lot of space. Like if you scan the 7-inch reel, it's about, oh god, it's about probably about 160 gigabytes of raw image data, which is a lot. But the thing is, I formatted the drive in exFAT, which is technically a little faster on Linux, and it's also compatible with Windows 10 or 11 or whatever. So you can pull the drive right out of this, stick the drive right onto Windows, and then create your project, your DaVinci Resolve project, on the disk. So basically you don't have to copy into the data. So it might be like 160 gigabytes of PNGs, but you're just basically creating the conversion program right on the disk. And by doing it that way, you have full control over how you actually output it using DaVinci Resolve versus FFmpeg. So you can ensure that you have a very high quality output. Which was something else that was impressive about that little projector, was that I was putting in like these, weird aspect ratio MP4s that were pretty high bit rate. I don't even know what it would be. It would pretty high, because like you had like you'd have like a reel of footage, like when it was compressed, it was still probably like 21 gigabytes. So it was a pretty, 21 gigabytes for 22 minutes of footage is a lot. So it handled it. It looked fine. So it was a good test. Prince Valium, yeah. All right, probably going to finish this beer and take off. If anyone has any other questions about the scanner, let me know. Otherwise, I guess... All right, this time I definitely won't be back until Sunday. I swear. But yeah, already used the scavenged printer feet for something. So yeah, there you go. It would also be kind of fun to like build like Junkyard Ghetto Printer. That could be the name on YouTube. Junkyard Ghetto Printer. Yeah, I mean, maybe I could make a low quality option where, I mean, because yeah, you can do that with OpenCV can like open and create an MP4 stream and directly encode it. I was just being a control freak, especially like for negatives. Like if you want to be really, really pedantic, and I'll probably end up doing what I'm about to suggest when I rewrite the code, which I might do this winter now that I'm kind of caught up on projects. If you set the 4K scanner to RAW, you can actually set it to RAW mode and get the raw bare data off of it. And if you do that, you can get what is it? You can get, well, you would save it as a 16-bit per channel PNG, but it's actually, the sensor itself is 10 bits per channel. So obviously there's a bunch of overhead you're not using, which means you're doubling your disk space to only get 2 more bits per channel. But that still would actually, well, that would give you more dynamic range for post-processing a negative image. So it'd probably be worth it. The problem is when you set the sensor to raw mode, it's the data right out. Like, 'cause even when you do a still mode off of this, you're getting the sensor's already done a whole bunch of stuff automatically. And one of the things that it does is that it removes the green bias of the CCD. Like all digital cameras are green biased because humans are green biased. So the raw image data always comes in green because there's typically like in a bear pattern, like the aspirin, it's spelled the same way as the aspirin. It's probably even involved with the aspirin. You would have like a cluster of pixels on the sensor, on the charge couple device. And you would have like red, blue, green, green. So picture like kind of like a lattice, and there's like red, blue, but then like there's twice as many greens. It's biased that much. And because humans are, because of evolution, our eyes are more sensitive to green. Because you have to look out for the velociraptor in the weeds, the green weeds. So you would get like the 10-bit per pix or 10-bit per channel color off the raw data, but then you also have to do another post-processing step where you remove the green bias, and then on top of that, you would have to invert it and subtract the film color. Well, see, PC Fred in this case, like, they're actually making the camera see more like we do. So by making the camera overly sensitive to green, it better reflects how humans perceive color. Like you even see that with the LCDs themselves. Like if you have an LCD screen that only has 16-bit color, and by that I mean 565. It's 5 bits of red, 6 bits of green, 5 bits of blue. Even then they bias to green. Standard 8mm? I mean, I would... Yeah, you'd have to swap out these sprockets, but because the sprocket holes are different size, but other than that, it should be able to do it. Because I think the... excuse me, I think the frame height is the same. Pretty sure it is. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh yes, look. I can set it up. This thing can project the Raspberry Pi desktop onto a wall. Brilliant. I've got the whole setup that I need right here. Okay, well, I think I'll call it a night, but thanks to everyone who stopped by again. We got the controllers done, and now we're all ready for the charity stream. And this thing ended up looking like a giant lobster when it was done. Everything in the ocean evolves into a crab. That's evolution. All right, bud, you gonna say goodbye? Bud! He knows his name. Say goodbye, bud. All right, we'll see you all on Sunday. Have a merry and safe Christmas day.